to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Alright, we're back. This feels so weird. If you missed my break video, then you're probably like, what do you mean you're back? I didn't even miss you. That's fine. If you didn't miss out on anything, then hello again, but I did take some time off YouTube. I'm back now. It was very refreshing. I definitely needed that time, and I did just want to say before we get right into everything, thank you guys for always supporting me and my decisions, and especially on that video, it was really nice to see all of the supportive, heartwarming comments and hearing your guys' stories about taking care of yourselves and taking breaks. So if anything, if that video encouraged you to also take some time for yourself, then that's also a plus for my break. I'm gonna do my March plan with me, my March bullet journal setup, which feels weird because literally the last video on my channel was the February setup. I just re-uploaded the stream that I did, which also was really fun. I did like the entire plan with me live on Twitch, and there was like the most viewers that I've ever gotten on a Twitch stream before, so thank you to anyone who tuned in or enjoyed watching the real-time spreads. It was definitely different vibes from like my normal plan with me videos, but very fun, so maybe in the future we can do more of those. Let's just get right into it, honestly. Like, I've taken 3 weeks off of YouTube, so why delay it anymore? Let's get started. Hi friends, this is VoiceOver Amanda. Just wanted to quickly pop in and mention, if you haven't seen in the news, there has been an increase in violence against the Asian community, particularly towards the elders, due to racist rhetoric around the COVID-19 pandemic. So because of that, for a whole week starting February 27th, which is tomorrow, 100% of the profits from Shop AmandaRachLee dotted notebooks will be going towards Asian communities in need. So if you want to buy a notebook, support the cause, I'm going to link it down below. It also happens to be the notebook that I'm using right now. Okay, that's all. Love you. Back to the regular voiceover. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, then you know that we have a little tradition every March, which is to do a green plant-ish theme. So of course, I'm not gonna break that tradition. We're 5 years strong so far. So of course, I had to do a plant theme. And surprisingly, in all of the March themes that we've done, I've never done like a full-on house plant theme. And I figured this would be the perfect month to do that. The inspiration behind this theme was actually my real life houseplant, my little fiddle leaf fig that's in the corner next to my couch. You guys see it in my videos all the time, but you know, it's kind of a wonder how I've managed to keep that plant alive for so long. And me and my friends like to call him Big Boy because he's grown quite a lot. I'll put a comparison picture of what my fiddle leaf fig started and how it is now. So yeah, I kind of got inspired by that houseplant, and also I found a lot of pictures on Pinterest of actual beautiful spaces with a lot of plants, almost like a greenhouse. So I wanted to emulate that on my cover page and just draw a whole lot of plants in pots. It was actually kind of fun to draw all of these. I know it might not seem like it because I'm drawing a lot, but these doodles are super easy to do. So I didn't really even plan out the actual leaves too much. I mostly just, you know, planned out where I wanted the pots to be with my pencil, and then with my fine liner afterwards, I went in and drew random leaves. But if you guys want a tutorial on how I draw each type of plant, I can definitely do that. But pretty much what I was doing is just looking up pictures of real life plants and trying to doodle them really quickly and loosely. I wasn't too focused on making it perfect. And then my favorite part of this cover page was that I included hanging plants from the top. So I drew a lot of like hanging vines, and I drew this shelf at the top where I could put smaller potted plants, and I think it turned out so cute. I know that there's a lot of green leafy doodles and themes out there, but I really tried to make it my own by just adding a ton of varieties and playing around with the different sizes of pots and plant varieties. So when you're doing this, if you want to recreate it, I encourage you to experiment with your doodles, try different plant varieties, look up actual pictures of plants and leaves, and it's really fun to experiment. And the good thing about plants is because, you know, they're natural, it's in nature, nothing's ever too perfect, so, you know, even if you quote-unquote mess up, it kind of just looks more natural. So I hope you guys have fun drawing plants this month if you're drawing them with me. Another fun thing about this theme, I think, is that I actually only used one green marker for the coloring part of this cover page. I wanted to keep it really simple, so I used one Tombow Dual brush pen to roughly fill in the leaves. Really, I promise you guys, if you saw the real-time clip of me coloring this in, it would be like 30 seconds because I was just scribbling. I did not sit in there and, try to fill in every individual leaf to make sure it was within the lines. That would be way too tedious. So I just did strokes of color, and I kind of liked that look with just the single accent color. It actually really reminded me of the very first year that I bullet journaled, 2017. A lot of my themes from then were also similar vibes, where it's just one accent color, really loosely, colored in, and just, with some fun doodles all around. In order to add a bit more dimension to that single green color marker that I used, a few times I would actually layer the green quite a lot to make it look a bit darker, but it was just that one marker. So you'll see that sometimes I go over like the center of the leaves with some added strokes, and it just gives you that dark green to light green gradient without using multiple green markers. So I just went in, colored the rest of those leaves, and actually I just realized I lied to you guys earlier. I did not technically use just the one green marker. I realized I went in with like a light gray for some, shadows, but honestly it didn't really add much, so you could probably go without this. On the other side of the spread is where I'm drawing my monthly overview, so I have a calendar. I've been shying away recently from doing a full 2-page calendar spread just because, I was on break last month. I'm still kind of easing into things a bit, so I figured this size calendar would be perfect, and then just underneath I'm writing out any events, meetings, to-do list things that I need to do for the month. And since this theme really reminded me of my old school bullet journal, like my bullet journal from 2017, I decided to bring back the drop shadows, guys. You guys know, if you watch any of my old videos, I was a big drop shadow guy, so I thought I would bring those back because, we love a good drop shadow in this household. Other than that, I kept it pretty simple. I just wrote out this month underneath the calendar, which is where I'll list everything, and then drew a few potted plants up top, like the header was a shelf, and another potted plant at the bottom, just for fun. Oh, I also used some washi tapes in kind of a fun way. So this is the Shop AmandaRachLee dark neutral set. We actually restocked the washi tapes in case you guys were wondering, so I'll link those down below if you guys want to grab a set before they run out again. And what I did was I actually put the washi tape on a few of the pots, just a couple of them, and then I took my X-Acto knife and lightly scored around the pot. You could kind of see the outline underneath, so I made sure to, follow that. And then when you peel back all the edges around it, you're left with the washi tape that fills in the center of the plant pot. And I thought it was just a unique, fun way to use washi tape. It also adds a nice pattern and pop to any design. Next up, of course, we have my trackers, and I'm starting out with my habit tracker. So I'm writing a simple title with my brush pen. By the way, of course, this is the Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen. I used this pretty much throughout the entire spread, both for the doodles and for the writing. You guys know I love it. This is my go-to pen, so if you're curious as to what else I use, I'll link it down below. And then I added some hanging plants next to it at the top, just for some added little doodles. For the mini calendars, I used these calendar stamps that I had. A lot of people ask me where I got these calendar stamps. I got them as a gift, but I believe you can find them on like AliExpress or Amazon. Just search rubber calendar stamps. So I just put those on one of my acrylic stamping blocks and stamped out the calendars. I kind of messed up and they're a little slanted because I just refused to plan anything out, apparently. But that's okay, you just gotta go with it. Things happen in your bullet journal and it's for you anyway, so accept your mistakes. As Bob Ross would say, there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. And I think that's kind of the mindset that I'm going into a lot of things nowadays. So yeah, I initially had 6 calendars, and then I decided to add a couple more at the bottom. I just have these drop shadowed rectangular headers up top where I write out what habits that I'm tracking. So I'm talking about, you know, watering plants, taking my vitamins, doing my vocal exercises, because recently something that I've done over my break is start vocal lessons. It's been a fun little hobby for me to pick up. So just stuff like that. And then next to it I have my mood tracker, and for this, because my fiddle leaf fig in real life was the inspiration behind this theme, I decided to draw my little plant baby again, and this was the habit tracker. So each leaf represents a day, and I'll be coloring it in according to my mood. I mentioned this, I can't remember when I mentioned this, but I'm starting to get into the habit of drawing the darker colors as my happy mood. I used to do it the opposite way, where the dark color represented, you know, a dark, sad mood, but then someone in my comment section pointed out that it stands out a lot more when you flip through the darker colors. So in order for things to stand out more in a positive way, when I flip through my bullet journal, I want the darker colors to be the happy days. I feel like I didn't really explain that well, but hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. While we're here talking about moods and how you're feeling, just wanted to check in with y'all and see how you're doing during all of this chaos, the pandemic. I hope you're setting boundaries, making sure you're taking care of yourself, and doing things for you. I feel like while I was on my break, I really got to figure out how I'm feeling recently without it being tied into work. So that was definitely a huge plus of me taking my break, and interesting to separate that out, because a lot of times I feel like my feelings, and you know, I've mentioned this before, a lot of times I equate my value to work and how productive I am, and I'm really trying to stop doing that. It'll definitely be a long-term thing where I need to figure out how to untrain myself from that thinking, but that's kind of been what I've been thinking about recently and checking in with myself, so I hope you guys are doing the same and doing well. Alright, so moving on to the next page, which is my playlist spread. I discovered a lot of great music during my break because I kind of had nothing better to do besides watch a lot of dramas and movies and listen to music on Spotify. So I did create a big playlist of all the songs that I've been loving recently. So if you want to check that out, I'll link my Spotify playlist down below. Honestly, it might be one of my favorite playlists. I've been shuffling it on repeat a lot recently, so I'll link that down below because I didn't include all the songs from the Spotify playlist on this spread. There was just way too many. I just kind of included some of my top faves on this spread, and I thought it was really cute. I printed out the album covers in little squares, and then I made it look like they're sitting on shelves. And I also made the album covers kind of 3D, and in between them I added, of course, more potted plants. Funnily enough, in my real life bedroom, I am going to be putting up floating shelves like this so that I can display more decorative things like plants and actual music albums. So I've already ordered these shelves from IKEA, and I'm going to be putting them up soon, so hopefully it turns out as cute as this spread. Anyway, I'll just list out a few honorable mentions since I didn't actually write out the name of the artist or the album title on this spread. So first we have Ravina's new single. I love Ravina. She's one of my favorite artists of all time. Her music is just very chill and magical and dreamy, and it's great. I also discovered this fully animated bunny who releases like pop songs, and it's kind of incredible. A pokey. I also recently my friend Stephanie Poetry came out with a song IRL, and I'm actually included in the music video, so that was kind of a cool thing that happened. Go check her out, very talented. And yeah, there's just so much great, awesome music that I've been discovering recently, and it makes me very happy. I feel like, especially while I'm journaling, I love playing this playlist. It's like the perfect vibes, and you guys know I love music so much, and it just ties so nicely into journaling and drawing and self-care, so I just love it. Anyway, moving on. Of course I added more of those washi tapes with a couple of the potted plants, but then next to it I have a very simple spread. If you watched my 2021 bullet journal setup video, then you'll know I created a package tracker for me to track, you know, when I purchase something, whether the item has come in or not. I've actually filled that up already, which is, I don't know, that's kind of embarrassing to say, but I filled that one up. That was at the beginning of my bullet journal, so I decided that maybe moving forward I'm gonna do it monthly and maybe, you know, a shorter little table. I don't know, I'm experimenting with this, so that's what I have there. I have a little tracker with the columns that have the name of the item that I ordered, whether it's been sent or not, and then I check off when I have received it. And then underneath that, I have my monthly shopping list as well, and the individual headers say things like groceries, household items, and other. Finally, we have made it to the first weekly spread of March, which, by the way, is extremely satisfying because the first week of March begins on a Monday, and you guys know I make my weekly spreads start on a Monday. I know some people do Sunday out there. I respect your preference, but it ain't me. I love a good Monday start to the week, and March begins perfectly on a Monday. Anyway, so I'm doing this vertical layout. You'll see I'm drawing out this horizontal line up top that looks like a shelf, adding more of those potted plants, but then underneath it is where I'm doing the actual weekly spread. And for this, I divided the columns out into 3. I just referenced my grid spacing guide at the beginning of my bullet journal, and I think it's 8 dot spaces each column, like the width. I know a lot of you guys asked me about dot grid spacing a little bit, but honestly, I just reference my grid spacing guide a lot. So yeah, I have this green header at the top, and I just divided it out into 3. Really simple, just draw those vertical lines, and then for the weekend, I split the page up in half that way. You'll see I'm dividing out the columns also with a line at the top, and that's where I place my weekly events, like any meetings or things that I need to do for that day, and then underneath it is where the actual task list goes. To finish off this weekly spread, I drew some black circles and then used my white gel pen to write the numbers on top of the black circle, wrote out the days of the week just in simple capital letters, and I filled in some of those plant pots with the washi tapes again for an accent, and I also used the washi tapes as a divider for the weekly events and the tasks. And that was pretty much it for the first weekly spread of March. I like this spread because it gives me a lot of planning space for the week. Before I flip through the entire March bullet journal setup, I wanted to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the perfect all-in-one platform to help you build your online presence. As you guys know, my personal website, AmandaRachLee.com, is run on Squarespace, and I've never had an issue. It's always super easy to use the platform. You just drag and drop things, and they even have a ton of designer templates to help you out. There's so many awesome features for you to take advantage of. For example, if you're showcasing your portfolio or a gallery of your work, you can display all of your images in a customizable gallery that makes it look really professional, and they just make it super easy for you to import photos from various social media platforms as well. And if you ever do need any help, they have 24/7 customer service at your fingertips. So if you guys have been meaning to build a website or maybe update an old one and you want to try out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com/AmandaRachLee for a free trial and for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or a website. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. They're a great friend to the channel, so little doodles, go check them out if you need a website. Alright, so here's the final flip through of my March 2021 bullet journal setup. I really like how this one turned out. I just feel inspired to fill it out and be productive, and the plant doodles were just really relaxing and fun to draw throughout the month. So that was it, Amanda's great return back to YouTube after her 3-week break. It really wasn't that big of a deal. I'm sure some of you guys didn't even notice that I was gone, but I hope you guys, of course, enjoyed today's video, seeing my March 2021 bullet journal setup. As usual, I wanted to showcase some of your recreations from last month. Even though I didn't post a normal February plan with me video, I did stream it, so a lot of you guys still recreated it, which was really nice to see. And of course, if you want to see how the rest of my setup plays out, all of the weekly spreads, come tune in on Twitch every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I create my weekly spreads there, live, real time, and it's very chill. There's lo-fi music and coffee and good vibes all around. I feel like I'm talking really fast, It might be because I haven't been on camera in a while, but anyway, hope you have an awesome day. Keep doodling. See you in the next one. Bye guys.